So good evening, everybody, and namaste to all of you, and a warm welcome to this wonderful webinar, which is on how to become a life coach. But before we could go ahead and get into understanding how to become a life coach, maybe I'd like to learn from the audience, where are you from? Which city? Okay, or if you're international, which country? So there is a type messaging box that you have. You can simply put in there from where you are and how are you feeling this evening. I believe everybody is on the journey to become a life coach or already a coach in their profession. So we have somebody from Navi Mumbai, Pune, from Calicut, Pune, Kuala Lumpur. Wow. Okay. From Cleveland, USA, Delhi, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Chennai. So we have the whole tour today. It looks like the whole, yeah, feeling excited. How about the rest? Kedla, how are you feeling this evening? We have Jhansi from Bangalore, Pune. Okay, great. And how are we feeling this evening? We're feeling great. Excellent, excellent. Happy it is Friday. Awesome. Okay, super, excellent, grateful, great. Feeling quite excited, looking forward to a great session. Okay, where are you from? I'm from Pune. Yes, very much. I love Pune and I'm a Pune fan. I was from Mumbai earlier, but I live in Pune for the last 20 years and I'm so amazed with Pune weather and Pune lifestyle. Yeah, feeling good. Even I'm feeling good listening to this. Yeah, great. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. And today's webinar is mainly to talk about how you could become a life coach, or what exactly is life coach all about. And I've got Kavita says she's from Sikkim. Absolutely. Good to see you, Kavita, as well. So today's session, I have a lot of questions for all of you. And I'm a person who would like to engage with people, okay, in terms of having a conversation rather than a monologue. It should be a dialogue. So it would be great to have you all turn off your camera and be ready to be with me. I'll just get you everybody on a gallery screen so I can have everyone here. Yes, great. So very simple question that I have for all of you, that if some of them would like to just come on the off camera or come on the camera and talk to me as well. Are you a coach already, or are you looking to become a coach, a life coach, or a coach maybe? There is something called as a reaction button where you can raise your hand and I could get to know that. Yes, yes. Do you want to share?
Hello?
Yes. Yes, Tayyab, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a fitness coach right now. So I'm more interested in become as a life coach.
Wonderful. So you're already a fitness coach. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, great, great. Thank you for sharing that, Tayyab. Yeah. How about the rest? What you do? Are you already a coach, or are you getting into coaching? Anybody would like to share? Yes. Yes. It's Malika Parmar? Yes,
Malika.
Go ahead. Malika Parmar. Go ahead, yes.
So basically I'm a yoga instructor and I just finished my course there, and I come from a family of counselors. So yeah, eventually I want to get into that space.
Wonderful, wonderful. Good to have people interested in space of mental health work and life coaching. It's a powerful space to be in. Yes, Sachin. Good to see you today. Yes.
Hi, my name is Sachin Deshpande. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm already a coach. I'm working with Better Up as a part-time coach. I am here to see if, and when I can set up my own practice so that I can do it full time.
Wonderful. Yes, Vivek, go ahead. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm not a coach, but I want to
Okay.
become a coach.
What do you do? What do you work at?
I'm into interior and constructions.
You're into interior and constructions, you want to get into coaching. Wow. That's quite a good leap, isn't it? Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Thanks for sharing that. Okay. Yes, Haripriya, go ahead.
Hi there, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Yes.
Great. So I am Haripriya and I'm from Pune. And currently I am a corporate trainer and coach, more into
Okay.
behavioral training, communication, and all of that. But I've always been very intrigued towards humans and how they function and all of that. So I would really like to become an all-round life coach as well. So that's something that I
Wow.
want to do.
Okay. Excellent. Thanks for sharing that, everybody, about your journey about coaching. And my question that comes to everyone is it, are coaches born or coaches made? What do you believe in? Are coaches born or coaches made? You can type in if you want to. You can share if you want to. Whatever comes to you. Coaches are made. Okay, such as coaches are made. Okay. Okay. How many are made? Let's see. 3, 4. Okay. 5, 6. Okay. Wow. 7. Wow. And what I want to challenge you today, everyone here, if coaches, we say, and that's absolutely, remember one thing, there is no absolute reality. It is all varied perceptions. That means whatever you say or whatever I say is not in like considered to be black and white. It is another perception to explore in. Okay, so I leave that space open to explore as long as you're ready to do that. For me, I personally feel that coaches are born because you have an innate desire to work with people. If you have a curiosity mindset, if you like to empower people, if you like to, there is a natural way that I remember way back, I used to talk to people and people used to share with me something that they would never like to share with anybody, and maybe in the first or second meeting itself. And I used to find it amazing, like, wow, I mean, and I never found that was something very unique about it because I never felt, there was nothing to, go and contemplate on. But when I started learning coaching and many other fields of human behavior, I realized it is a skill to be developed. And I said, oh, that is something that is happening naturally. Then later on, I realized that it is something that we all have within. Some people like to exercise it because they love this passion. It could be a coach or a counselor or a therapist or a mentor or a supervisor or a leader. So these are certain natural qualities, abilities that we have. We have to move and convert them into capabilities. Okay, that means that coaches are born with natural skills. Okay, however, with certain sharpening their saw on certain areas, they could be made to be a better coaches. So for me, it was always about that, okay, this is so natural within you. And I work with so many coaches across the globe. I'm just talking about my experience, not about generically, but I realize everybody has such a natural calling, that inner calling. We call in this modern era the gut age, the gut brain. Something in the gut tells them that, hey, I love to do this job. So coaching can be considered as a primary source of income or a secondary. Some people would like to do a profession in coaching. They would like to be a coach, like somebody's already in training and somebody's already into construction and architect and many other fields, or a fitness coach. And you would like to also have an alternate career. Maybe that could be a part of life coaching or any other part of coaching that you may choose to. So I totally agree that coaches are made if they have some sort of curiosity about working with people. Now, one of them from our team said that, my family is into mental health work or counseling. Now, what happens internally, there is so much desire to work with people, and working with people becomes so natural for you. Then learning coaching is like a gateway that, hey, this excites me. Let me take it forward to developing those competencies. So my first question that I would like to bring it to all of you is just a small PPT I created. I don't like PPT, but I just thought probably why not just create this and just say, who is a coach is my first question. Okay, and believe you me, when you watch this, you'll find this is everything I have, Paras. Okay, and there's something so natural in me. So the first thing that I got for everybody is coach is a catalyst. Now, when I say a coach is a catalyst, that means a coach is somebody who is not somebody telling you what to do. A coach is not somebody telling you what you should do or not, but gets into a conversation that helps you to think better. Okay, just imagine that I'm paid for a job where I ask questions and my clients get clarity. And, one of my friends told me, Purpose, that's a wonderful job. People come with their problem, you ask them questions, they feel better, and you're paid for just asking questions. And I said, no, maybe that is the outside version of it, but role of a catalyst. That means you're there as a coach, but you're not there as like a guidance or something like that. You're just helping them to reframe or think better about certain things that they have about their life. So if you're looking to work as a coach or a life coach, one thing that you can understand that as coach is a catalyst. That means you are somebody who is empowering them without having your own existence of that, hey, I'm doing this for you. So in coaching, we do not guide people. That's one thing that you need to be aware. We are not here to guide people. We're not a power position that, hey, I'm here to tell you what you should do. And believe you me, nobody likes to, entertain people who are into that background. Like somebody told me in my private practice, client comes to me and they say that, why don't you do one thing for us? You're a wonderful coach. Why don't you just tell this particular colleague or my partner or my son or my daughter what they should do, and they will listen to you. And I said, for the last 25 years, if they have not listened to you, what makes you say that they're going to listen to me? But what I could ideally do is maybe I could have open dialogue with them. What is something that is bothering them? What is something they want to explore? What is something that is not helping them to grow? And that's where I think things have been very successful. So I call the word coaching is partnership. So one is catalyst, the second is partnership. You partner with your clients. So when you say partnership, it is on equality base. That means you and your client are together at one base. So it's not about you are here or client is here. It's together as partner. So when you're playing the role of a catalyst and you're partnering, what you're doing here is called co-creating conversation. Now let's take an example. If I come to you and I say I'm having a hard time to focus at my work, or there are too many things in my plate, a mentor or a guide could probably just tell you some instruction that, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that. And then you would say, okay, I will try this. And then you come for the next week and say, oh, I missed out. Oh, I couldn't do that. Your strategy didn't help me, my mentor, coach, whatever you would like to name it. But what a coach does is a little different. A coach would probably ask questions like, okay, what is most important thing for you right now? And from there, the coach will help you to partner, to co-create a conversation. Remember, whenever we are confused in life, there is no third person can help me. But a third person with partnership is going to help me to explore my data points. Okay, so sometimes my data points could be expanded this way of impossibility. Like certain people say that, oh, I'm finding it so difficult to do this. Difficult is in their brain, in the way they are perceiving that particular thing. It's like a cockroach you see and you get scared. You're not getting scared with cockroach and you scream, but you're getting scared with the image of cockroach you have in your brain, which is grandiose, very big, very huge. In the same way, when we are stuck in certain things in our lives, we have certain grandiose image or very big image about that particular thing. And that's the reason it becomes quite difficult for us to do our jobs that we are supposed to. And that's the reason coaches help us to perform better. So they're catalysts, they are partners. They help us in co-creating a conversation or co-creating dialogue so that something that I don't know, you don't know, but we co-create. So I'm going to take a pause here. I'm going to ask you, do you have any burning questions coming or any learnings coming to you as a coach? Anything that comes to your mind, please feel free. Anything that learning you get, feel free to help me. Okay? So when you're quiet, I understand two things, that you are understanding, you're with me, or you are away from what I'm sharing with you. So as long as you're with me, I'm happy. As long as you're not with me, feel free to ask me questions. Also, a coach is somebody who empowers. Yes, who is that?
Kanu.
Yes, Kanu, go ahead.
I wanted to know what is the difference between a life coach and an executive coach?
Fantastic question. So let's take an example. A life coach, that's a question that I have for everybody, but any which ways that you've asked me now, let me just highlight that point.
Yeah, unless you are covering part of your presentation, we will wait for that.
No, it's good. See, questions are always good. They just ignite, they just empower. So I like that question. I want to answer that question right now, and then again we'll come back to go deeper. So first of all, let's understand that a life coach, executive coach, spiritual coach, relationship coach, grief coach, are these specializations or these genres? If you say specialization, then it will become a subject matter expert. But coaching is never a subject matter expert. So when we look at executive coaching or life coaching or spiritual coaching or relationship coaching, these are our genres. That means me as Paresh, I brand myself in the market. People should know me as a life coach. Okay, now for example, if you see my hair, they are black, but let's say if I put some powder in that, so it becomes a little whitish, a little gray, pepper salt. And then I go to corporate and say, hey, I've been working as a senior manager till the age of 45, and it's my second inning to get into consulting, and I want to do some executive coaching for a very senior management in your organization. So I would do the same coaching skills, what I learned in coaching as in program, but apply for a genre or a brand or brand myself for doing corporate executive coaching. A spiritual coach could probably look at, or a mindfulness coach could probably look at helping people to get more clarity, similar like a life coach. Now, what you learn is coaching. But you would like to put your practice into a particular market segment. Now, I do life coaching, but there are a lot of corporates who ask my service. Now, I do that as an executive coaching. But I would never like to brand myself as a life/executive/mindfulness. No, it's not life coaching. So in executive coaching, you work with corporates, you work with competencies. In life coaching, you may work more than just competence. You may work a lot with that person because you have a lot of time, permission to go deeper. But in executive coaching, it is mainly for senior people or CAOs or CXOs or senior heads, Apex team, where people have less time, but they need a coach. The coaching was earlier introduced in USA, States, where it was a lot of alpha men in 80s. That means people were thinking from their head and not from their heart. So coaching actually brought a space of connecting their hearts to their heads. And that's where it became that emerged a lot about that coaching is required in the organization. Now in 2022-21, coaching has become not what we say, not a want, but a need. During the pandemic, a lot of people were looking at coaching as a sounding board. I need somebody to talk to. I need to make peace with and moving forward conversations. So mental health work and coaching was in full swing. And in the coming next 20 years, there would be a coach in every house. That kind of demand we have for coaches. So coming back to your question, executive coaching is primarily for corporates, or we're looking for C-suite coaching or senior management coaching. It could be a leadership coach as well, in that where you could be either an executive coach or a leadership coach. So have I answered that question for you?
Yeah,
yes. Yes. Was that question answered to you?
Yes, thank you for the answer.
Thank you. And yeah, so anybody else has any question before I could proceed further?
Hi Paras, Ankur this side.
Hi Ankur, tell me.
Hi, so I'm not very sure, I think it will be covered later in the content, but just wanted to know what is the difference between a coach and a mentor?
Fantastic. I like that because, you helped me to integrate my PPT. I don't like PPT, Ankur. Okay, and it's very nice when you ask me this question because it helps me to get away from PPT. I'm a person who's like to be more experiential and talk and get more information, like question answer sessions. So I'd love to answer your question right away. Now, to give you an idea, there are not only mentor, but also many other forms. So let's first understand a mentor and coaching. In the 80s, mentoring and coaching was considered to be same. Like you mentor for a long-term coaching sessions. In certain other definition, mentoring is also considered for, let's say, I work as a senior head in a company. And I have an intern who is from an IITN or IIMs or somebody whom I'm looking at to progress faster. So I would probably personally become his or her mentor, work with that person for 2 or 3 years and help that person to proceed. So there are certain, in organizations, certain companies have that kind of framework where you get a mentor and it's a fast track growth for you. In mentoring definition, from my understanding, at multiple levels of definition change, but my understanding of mentoring is a subject matter expert telling you to do what I should do in order to progress further. But when I look at coaching, coaching is not about telling you what you should do, it's co-creating conversations. So mentor I look at as a subject matter expert, okay? In certain places, mentoring, and in Europe mainly, mentoring is considered as a long-term coaching session where there is no guidance given, but you are working with that person on a regular basis. Okay.
Can we say like you mentioned that coach is not a problem solver. So can we consider that mentor is basically a problem solver up to an extent?
Fantastic. Now let's take an example, Ankur. If I come to you, you're an expert in, let's say, expert in banking and finance, and you're very good at that subject. And I'm not very good at that, and I need help. and I come to you and you guide me in two forms. If you're working in an organization, you will be a formal mentor for me if you're assigned, or you can be a consultant having 20 years experience in that field. So you will tell me what I should do. Okay, but in coaching, it will be completely different. So mentoring is a subject matter expert. You would tell me exactly what I need to do. In coaching, you'll help me to explore deeper into where am I and what I need to do further. Is that clear, Ankur?
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So mentors are also called consultants externally. Okay, so sometimes people just hire mentors for service that, okay, I want to start up my business. I need clarity on certain things, help me. And then we have an arrangement for 6 months contract, 9 months contract, 12 months contract. And then accordingly, you work with that mentor or a consultant with that. But coaching is completely a different ballgame altogether. Now, next question that came from Ankur was about mentor and coach difference. The next question is about how a counselor and a coach is different. Now, if you go back in psychology studies, everything evolved from counseling. Okay, but counseling talks a lot about going into the content of the story. Okay, there's a part of it where we go into the content in the past tense. While coaching, we are in the present and the future. So coaching focuses a lot about now and how, while counseling covers the past, the present, and the future. So if you are a counselor, you are already know the nuances of the counseling as well as coaching. You just have to name it in your brain. But for people who are not from mental health background, they need to understand that coaching is all about the present and the future. Coaching is about the context, not the content. In coaching, we never ask questions like, tell me more. We never ask questions like, who said what to you? Okay, but in counseling, we may go into deeper stories of the client. So even if you're exploring mentor, if you're exploring what is counseling and difference between counseling and coaching, this is one of the ideal way to distinguish the content and the context, the past, present, future, and present and future. So these are a few more elements to look at that. Again, clinical would be again very different in counseling and clinical counseling and therapy and other parts of it. But we don't go there. In coaching is very much why coaching is very successful for people like you and I to progress, because it always trains the brain to think forward, to create what we want to do in life. While in therapy part, it engages us into a lot of stories and traumas and emotional issues, which may not be a part of a coaching dialogue. So if you get clients who need that, you need to recommend them to the right resources. Otherwise, you will engage in a conversation which will not have any meaning for the client and for you. So are we clear so far with that? Yes. Yes. Malika, go ahead.
Paras, I just want to understand, because you're mentioning this, and I had a question, like for instance, when we are working with clients, and yes, it is completely future focused, but then there are times where, people come up with certain, like there's a block which they just can't get through, like, a certain pattern, I can't get through this. And I've noticed that sometimes there is that a portion where maybe counseling comes in, because you sort of try and understand why is this pattern being repeated again and again. So is that where probably counseling skills might also enter, probably looking, not delving deep into the past, but slightly into the past?
So interesting question in terms of when a client gets stuck, okay, and is not able to find himself or herself feels himself or herself in a maze. Okay, you could do whatever works well for the client if you come from a mental health background. But if you're just a pure coach and you want to apply the plain vanilla coaching, I would probably ask, how does this being stuck feel like? Okay, if the client tells me that, I don't know where I'm going, can I say to the client, how does that make you feel when you get to a state where you have an experience of not going anywhere? And then a visualization technique could be, how would it look like for you ideally? Okay, see, it's all about resource building. If the client says, I cannot think at all anything, and is stuck, and is not able to have a bandwidth to answer, maybe in 1 or 2 sessions you realize that it is not a coaching client. It needs something more. Okay? If you're already a counselor and you have a contract with the client to do both, which is fine. As a coach, if the client says to me, like, let's take an example, if the client comes to me and says that, I tried it 3 times and all the time I try, it never happens. I'm unable to do it. The other person could probably say, hey, looks like you tried this way, why don't you go this way? But as a coach, I would like to ask, what pattern is emerging for you when you're saying that this is a 3rd time or the 10th time? What are you observing about yourself here? And the client's answer is very different than what the client could probably give me earlier. The client started saying that, what I'm observing that, I'm saying yes to a lot of things when I should say no. And a complete game changes. Okay, so again, in coaching, the dialogues, the questions are very important. But that doesn't mean that, are we born coaches or made coaches? We have all the natural qualities. What we just need to do is we need to shape them. Okay, so have I answered that question for you?
Yes, thank you.
So there could be many ways to climb Mount Everest: counseling, therapy, hypnosis, coaching, NLP, mindfulness. You could do various interventions with the client, depending upon your specialization. If you have that skills, use it. Maximum time people feel that getting into the why of the question can help them. But my personal experience, initial times, a why gets into a lot of defenses. People tend to feel like, why didn't you do this? You promised me last week. Oh, what can I do, Paris? There was so much of traffic every day. I just couldn't come on time. But if I ask the client that, you promised it 3 times, and it's the 3rd time, I'm just wondering, what's motivating you to not do that? And the client says, yeah, I'm realizing that myself too. And then the answer is not a defense, but to be with that space and understand what's going on. Because you want freedom, I want to be a catalyst in getting you that freedom. But then something is coming in between, which we may have not explored in the past. Can we do that now? Because it's just coming on the surface. That way, yeah? Yes, Sachin, go ahead.
Hi, I have a question about the mindfulness. So how do you incorporate mindfulness into coaching? If you can give one example, that would be great.
Sure. Excellent question. Mindfulness is one of my favorites. So I would love to answer that as well. One of the things that I see in coaching is not about your learning in a training program. You're actually doing a lot of unlearning part. Whatever you perceive things to be, you have to take a step back and unlearn a lot about your own self. So I look at mindfulness as a concept of accounting. How I'm accounting myself, the other person that is my client, the relationship between us, the environment, and the situation. So mindfulness is all about raising the awareness of oneself. As a coach, am I an expert? And the answer is no. How can mindfulness help me to be aware all the time that do not operate? Whether you have a 10 years or a 12 years or decade of experience in coaching, that doesn't make sense. Because mindfulness helps you to ground yourself that it is not a subject matter expert role. It is about how you play the role of a catalyst, how you help the client to empower, how you help the client to find resourceful spaces or spots for them. So one of the mindset of coaching that gets created is that you're not an expert, but you're a co-creator. You're empowering people, but you're not somebody called as some sort of guru or a guidance or a teacher. You are a learner, you are a student, you are a curious coach with that person. And mindfulness helps me because I have seen when I do a lot of executive coaching, okay, people come with all fancy designations that, I've done this, I've flown here, I've done that. And mindfulness helps me to know that, okay, that doesn't mean anything to you, Paras. The client is sharing themselves because they want to just share it. Otherwise, we can get impacted in a concept of transferences where we just feel that, oh, am I good enough to coach this person? So mindfulness helps you to see the relationship. You're a coach, the client, that's a business. So for me, I think mindfulness is becoming aware consciously about yourself and the environment around you. And whatever is happening around, can you account for all of that things? So that's something that resonates very powerfully on mindfulness. Any other questions? Sachin, have I answered that question?
Yes, very well said. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Great, thank you so much, Sachin. And I'm just wondering now to all of you, how are we so far? What is one key learning have you got for yourself as a coach? Just put that in the chat box. Or if somebody would like to just share as well, what is one thing so far, or two things, or three things that you got for yourself so far? We've just done almost 40 minutes, I believe. So just wondering with everybody. Time is just flying, didn't realize it. The rest of them as well, some of them in the quiet. So just wondering that, how are we so far? What is one learning you're having from this, or two learnings, or three learnings? Last 20 seconds, so that probably I can take you through the next slide. Coaching is about context, that's right, absolutely. Coaching is helping client to find his potential, yes. So keywords, absolutely. Okay, so let's quickly move to the next part. The qualities of a coach. One is curious. Curiosity is what brings you to become a coach. The more and more curious you are that, hey, I want to learn more about my client. And that's the reason you're going to ask the client a lot of questions. Some questions client may say okay with, and some questions may not relate to the client, which is fine too. The other part is non-judgmental. Okay, I think one of the most important thing as a coach that you need to realize that how can you operate from being an observant and being a non-judgmental person? And that's something which it's an ongoing journey, I believe so, because the quality of a coach is the more and more you're non-judgmental, the more and more you become mindfully aware about what's happening in the moment with the client. The moment you become judgmental, you are out of that coaching space and you are in your own la la land. So this is one quality which we need to learn consciously. The next thing that quality is compassionate. How compassionate you are as a person. Do you like to be a sounding board to your clients? How do you listen to your clients? So these are all certain qualities we have, but maybe we need to do a little bit more learnings and observant. The next part that I would like to take you through is, what do coaches do? Coaches reflect. Coaches identify your potential spots, reframe, move from confusion to clarity, and from thinking to actions. So one of the important part that I would like to bring here to all of you, what coaches do in a coaching session, is called reframing. And that's one of the most powerful word in coaching. Now, for example, if a client comes to me and says that it's so difficult to deal with this boss, I'm having a hard time, what do I do? Or it's so difficult to deal with this relationship. It's been married for, say, about 15 years, and I'm having a hard time. What do I do here? So a person is coming from a space of what's not working well. So reframing could be, what would you like instead to happen? The moment I say, I don't want to deal with this difficult, truculent boss, you're operating from a space in your brain which is not helping you to grow. It is not a resourceful space. Oh, I'm nervous for this exam and I do not know what do I do and it's so tough and, will I fail? Okay, what do you want from this conversation? And the client changes and says to me, I want to have an open dialogue with my partner. From difficult, truculent relationship changes into an open dialogue with my partner. So it's changing the gears, completely, reframing. And that's what coaching is all about. And that's the reason it's so popular. It is so impactful conversation because you're changing the gears in your brain to think from what is not working well to what do you want to create. And when you know what you want to create, what happens? Transformation happens, because then you create strategies to achieve them. And once you create those strategies to achieve them, you get into action mode. So from thinking to actions. So reframing is something that you learn very deeply in coaching. And with only the help of questioning skills, your presence, your tone of voice, your body language, your pause, your silence, all of this play a very vital role around you when you're working with your clients. Everybody with me here, any questions, feel free to ask me. Yes. Who is that? Yes, one.
Yes, sir. Your suggestion or advice which you're saying about your voice modulation and the silence, the periodic silence in between, they all matter a lot, I know. But one thing which I always feel is that only questioning and questioning and questioning. How is that so significant in coaching? That is like a kind of mesmerizing thing for me.
Yeah, very interesting, and that's the reason I told you at the start of the conversation. That my friends joked around that people come to you, you ask them questions, and then they pay you for only asking questions. And I say, yeah, that looks from the outside part, but what kind of questions you ask them, what kind of space that you hold for the client. Because when we look at the word questioning, it's a very there is something called as a context questioning, going deeper, moving forward, questioning about self, questioning about values, questioning about beliefs. So the items involved in the questioning play a very vital role.
So, but you see, values and beliefs, I'm sorry to interrupt. Values and beliefs, they actually pertain to the past. They never pertain to your present, because values are something which you have created and co-created ever since you were born, and the kind of bringing up in your own family which you had. And the beliefs are after the values. I mean, you have been seeing those things and you have been seeing the results, the impact, and there how the belief system came up. So that I feel creates all the attitude and belief system. So that really matters, that whether we are talking of the past or we are talking of the present and future only.
So when we look at values or beliefs, I challenge the client, are they borrowed beliefs or they are self-beliefs? Okay, a lot of beliefs that we have are swallowed without chewing, and those beliefs are a fantasy as some sort of values that we hold unless we challenge them. So when we talk about any sort of beliefs that we have, are those borrowed beliefs or they are clear about these beliefs? If they're clear about these beliefs, then they would not have any difficulty dealing with the current state. But when there is a belief conflict at an unconscious level, and what gets manifested in the environment is about dealing with a manager or a leader or a colleague or a partner. Okay, so let's take an example. One of the clients had this belief that I want to make everybody happy. And one day in the fourth or fifth session, I asked the client, looks like, you want to be assertive, but there's another part of you, I get a sense that you want to make everybody happy. How are these two, supporting you to grow? And the question, that client went back, reflected almost a week later and said that, I need to change this somewhere. It is not helping me today in the context of a relationship. Maybe this may be helping me somewhere. Because again, this concept of that, are these values and beliefs fixed? Some of them are fixed, which are called as core beliefs and core values. But some of them are fluid in nature because they are not having any precise definition on values and beliefs. We are co-creating in form of some sort of layers of onions. So we teach that also in a training program about the concepts of values and beliefs, that how are our core values and core beliefs getting formed, but how are they impacting in the present and future? Because my decision making is coming from certain values and beliefs that I hold about certain things in my life. And then how does that contradict with what I want to create? If that contradicts, then we challenge, but we challenge with a lot of compassion. We don't challenge like to confront the person, because at the end of the day, coaching is not about confronting, but coaching is about co-creating. This is what you want. It seems to be like you're held yourself with this particular strong belief that this is what life is. Now, how do you want to work around this? Now, whether the person is able to focus on the who part or the values and beliefs of it, or changes the behavior completely. Says, okay, this is what I want to do further. Okay, so how do you want to go ahead then? So what are you challenging about yourself here? What are you challenging about your beliefs that you're holding about life? Now, bringing wherever the client is in the present, if the client goes in the past, and we help the client to say that, okay, how is that learning impacting you today? So you're always working in the present. You're never in the past. You may be having a belief that you're holding about the past, but how is it impacting in the present? And that is impacting you to take a decision for the future. Am I with you so far? Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It was really an eye-opener, actually. And actually, correct. I was like going into that deep thought of core belief system and the fluid belief system. Yeah. Yes. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have the last 10 minutes. So let me just be mindful about some important thing that we may take away from this webinar. Okay. So what specifically a life coach can offer? A life coach can offer, a variety of things that I look at as a holistic role that you play in your life. One of them is called personal development. Clients come to you when you take this profession. Clients come to you because they want to have a personal development. They want to have either their habits, their certain behavior patterns, or they want to get some clarity in their life, or somebody wants to work with you in their relationship. So a life coach can be a wonderful space for you to explore. A relationship could be partners, it could be divorce, or getting into some sort of separation, or getting into some sort of relationship, or dating. Could be anything that client is going through, and you are comfortable handling that part. Again, in career, maybe the client is looking for a transition. Like I had this client who is at the age of 45 at a very senior level in an organization, came for coaching. And, it was almost 12 years ago. And I was like a person who was capturing hours for coaching. And this person says that, I want to change and I want to become a photographer. And the first thought, my judgmental thought, oh, you're having a fancy job there and you want to just be a photographer. And that's where it helped me a lot, to understand that work with the client goals. Don't have your own judgments about it. And today this person is doing massive work in photography and he's successful in the field of that and does a lot. And it's so expensive to go to him that, it's like you have to wait and then quite a big expense to work with. But then I realized that coaching, life coaching for career transition, you could offer that service. If somebody is looking for a change or working on business part of it, now you don't need to be a mentor, but help the person to think clear on the vision of the client that he's looking at. Emotions, behaviors, people management, leadership skills. There are massive areas that you can look at as a life coach to work on. So any question you have on this slide, just want to check in with you all. A life coach in personal development, relationship, career, business, emotions, behavior, people management, leadership skills. You can offer a wide range of variety you have. Now, the next question that I have for all of you is that, is life coaching, do you need a license to practice coaching? Everyone. Do you need a license to practice coaching? And the answer is no. That means it is not a regulated body that you cannot practice, so anybody and everybody. But if you are a clinical counselor, do you require a license? Yes. That means if you're thinking about becoming a life coach, you just need a will and skill. Okay? And if you have that will, the curiosity, we can work on your skills. So think about it, that there is a lot of huge scope for you to get into life coaching. Now, it could it could be a life coach or a spiritual coach or a leadership coach or executive coach. It's up to you. However you want to create. Yes, because you need some certification. Absolutely. Yeah. You can require certification, whichever certification you can do, whether you want a global certification, whether you want an Indian certification, but learning coaching is important. Skill sets development is important. The natural things that you have definitely are going to be with you forever. What skills and competencies are required to become a life coach? Now, these are few of the things that I mentioned: questioning skills, listening skills, goal setting, mindfulness, being reflective, being non-judgmental, goal setting and actions, and many more. So remember one thing: life coach, business coach, spiritual coach, these are not specialized programs. These are genres. That means how you want to brand yourself. Okay, becoming a life coach, when is it a good investment? Now, if you are a person who is looking to start your career in space of working with people as an alternate career, amazing job. As a mainstream career, it's good time to begin anywhere. So life coaching is one of the most demanding thing in the coming years. And what I see is every house require one life coach to be there. And that is a need, what I see. And after the pandemic, I realized we just have not even a lack of people in India who are certified coaches. So it's a good time for you to explore and develop your coaching skills. So in case if, in the last 4 minutes, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to pick it up. In case if you're looking to do some training with us, we have a batch, 2 batches we have. One is on mindfulness practitioner, level 1, which is starting on 7th of July. 2 hours per week for 7-week program. There are 5 levels, but level 1 begins in the month of July itself on the 7th. So I think my team will send the the link to you all, or just I'll send it to you just right away in case if you want to explore that, would be great. And the second one, we're starting an code certification, an ICF code certification, level 1 and level 2. So in case if you're interested to join an online program, which is for 4 months or 9 months, the links are there available to you. You can always come back to me. You have my email address. It is Dr. Paras, Dr. Paras at matrix.n. Thank you, Ashish, once again. So, one more thing to share with you. I'm a very curious person, and curiosity. Yesterday, I was suffering with a temperature of 102. This morning, it was 101. And my family said that, please cancel this webinar. And I said, no, people have registered all over the world, and it's very bad to cancel it at the 11th hour. And I just prayed to myself that, an hour I have to give it the best. Only my cold little voice will be very different. Otherwise, it sound like a very husky voice. But then that was a passion. So when you have a passion, nothing stops you in life. Remember that. That's my personal story. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, Malika. Yes, go ahead.
Hi. Well, first of all, please get well soon. And
yes.
So just 2 questions. One was actually, because we're talking about the certification, and because I've been researching on this, I wanted to understand the whole ICF certification. What is that exactly, and how relevant is that in India? And also, like, if we need to get further details about your training, like in terms of costs and everything, how do we get it?
So we can connect tomorrow on the same. Okay, there are 2 programs that you can look at. One is level 1, level 2 of ICF code certification, or else a mindfulness practitioner certification, which is also ICF CCU hours. So there are 2 options to explore in. So we can connect tomorrow, or maybe on Sunday. I can share with you all the information on an email, and then I could take you through the process of how it works. Maybe that would help you. It's a 4 months program and a 9 months program, 2 hours each week, every week. Yeah. But I'll tell you more in details about the program as well. Yeah. Any other question you'll have for me? So how are we feeling this evening? Let's have a quick experience with that. How are we feeling this evening?
Yeah, your answers were quite significantly, I would say, eye-openers. They were actually going deep into me, and I was into that thinking process, which is always needed whenever you start any kind of new training. And for personal development, I think this is a very good platform. And you're right that any passion always, encourages you for doing some things which remain like a lifetime memory. I would like to tell you in one line that I was in 2nd year when I got this fever, 104. And I had practiced for a solo dance performance in my college, which was to be held the next day. For all that 1 month, I had practiced for that solo dance performance for a charitable event. There were floods in that month in Ludhiana. And I was told by everyone, including the doctor, that you should not go for your dance tomorrow because it was a very high fever, 104. I was actually on the bed with everyone around, like putting all those cold patties on my head. I took, I don't know how much antibiotic at night. And in the morning when I was to be performing, I just asked my neighbor auntie to dress me up because my mom was very angry that why she's going, why in this. But then she said, okay, fine, you want to go, you take this. She gave me 2 tablets. I lowered my fever to say, I think 99 or 100 maybe. And I danced. It was one of my best dance performances in this whole lifetime, I would say. And in the end, I was supposed to be taking a chakkar on the stage, and I fainted there only.
My God.
So they just drew the curtains, and I still remember that as a lifetime memory because I was
Wonderful.
cheered by whole crowd. The whole of Ludhiana had come that day. It was a big
Wonderful.
event in my college, and it was a solo dance performance. So it was a very big event. So that
Fantastic.
remains a memory in my mind. As you just said, that any passion could not, hold back anything, any physical problem or any other problem. If you have a passion, you can always go ahead then. My mom especially came all the way to see me that मेरी बेटी ठीक रहे all this time.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that was one incident. Thank you.
Thank you so much once again. And I've also put up on our chat a free certification program on mental health. In case if you're interested, be a part of that as well. We also run, it's a wonderful project that we did. It's a free certification on mental health awareness, part of it. So let me know if there are any questions, happy to support that. Yes, Ramana.
Yeah, Mr. Paras, I have one question.
Yes.
Can I ask you?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Paras, I just want to know, how do you get clients in the coaching business?
How do we get clients in coaching business? I think that's one of the most secretive question that I would like to answer it. Okay, one of the things that I've learned over a period of time, till 2016, I never had a website. Okay, I was always working for 28 days, 27 days, doing a lot of corporate work. And many of them told me, you don't have a website? I said, no, it's everything that happens is a word of mouth. And then somebody suggested me that, you've trained around, 1.5 lakh people. Now, why don't you, by this time you could have had a website and things, you would have just got expanded more to 10, 15 lakhs people. I said, okay, let's have this website thing. But what I realized at the time I was working with a lot of people, it was all about networking business. So one thing, Ramana, is that in order to create clients, we need to have patience and a good amount of networking work to be done. Now, if I tell everybody that, hey, I'm a coach and come and work with me, no, I have to go to different places, okay, different networking zones, and invite people or things, share with them that this is the work what I do. And then when people start coming to you, they start referring you. Oh, you should go to that boy, Paras. He's an amazing coach. He works very well. And then you put up a price to it. Now it wasn't free for you or very little for you, but now I'm little 1 year has crossed or 6 months have crossed. Now I have a charge to it. And if people like your service, they pay for it. Second part is there are a lot of marketplace in coaching these days. You can join those ones, but they require some more credentials as well. So if you have those credentials or you learn those credentials, you can be a part of the marketplace. Personally, if you ask me, a lot of branding. If you're investing in learning, spend little money or keep little money aside for branding. People should know you. People will not come to you directly unless they understand the flavor of you. Now, I've been in coaching and training for almost 17 years in my life, but I still feel that I have not reached enough yet. So I have to keep working on that. Okay, so we are running running ahead of time. It's almost 8:35. So Ramana, I have answered very little, but there could be many more ways to look at. But the very simple answer is networking. The more and more we network. So any other question you have before we could close today's call? It was all lovely meeting you, everybody out here. Thank you so much for coming. And you all are natural coaches. In case if you want to explore in, please connect with me at regular intervals. I'll be happy to support you. Have a wonderful, wonderful time ahead, everybody. Namaste to everyone and stay connected. Goodbye and good night once again. Bye-bye.